How to get into plumbing. Doesn't matter whether you are in Dallas, Texas or Paducah, Kentucky. Getting into plumbing is a great career choice. And as you can see, I've got a guest in here today. I've got Jimmy Ivitts from Paducah, Kentucky. Jimmy, tell me about you and your plumbing company and how you got started.
Okay. It's quite a while ago. I'm 57 right now, and I started plumbing when I was 18 out of high school for my dad. Fortunately, I was born into the plumbing world, me and my brother. I've got an older brother, and he's a licensed plumber in the state of Kentucky as well as I. One good thing about that, I always tell everyone, we've never drawn unemployment by choice in our life because we've always been worked, and there's always been plenty of work. Everybody needs a licensed plumber. So.
Every day.
Anyway, but I actually started with my dad, got my 2 years in, went and took my test by the time I was 20, and I actually followed up and went back and got my master's license, which you only have to have if you're going to run a plumbing company. And at that time I had no desire to, but while I was young and it was fresh on my mind, I went and took the master's test and got my master's license. So then I actually left my dad. He was a union contractor, a residential plumber, mainly house plumbing and a little bit of repair. And I got into the union, and I think like Roger, I went on some huge jobs, cast iron, things I'd never seen before. But, you know, it was a great experience for me being as young as I was. I actually am from a generation that caulked lead joints with a hammer. And
I've been there.
And so anyway, got a lot of beat up hands and things like that. But, you know, these modern day plumbers now, I tell them about that, and I call them push fit plumbers because that's what some of them do these days. We try to avoid that. But nevertheless, I learned the trade, fortunately, under my dad, and he was a very good craftsman and always taught me to do it right. And it's, you know, paid off in my line of business to have had that experience. So, but he's retired now. He had the business for 37 years, and I've had it now for 21 years. So we've been around a little while. So
good for you.
We know the game.
So how hard is it for you to find plumbers in your area?
It's very hard. If you're looking for experienced licensed plumbers, they're not out there. If they're good enough, you know, most of them's working. And even if they're not a very good plumber, we find out they get handed around to most of our plumbing shops in our area. We're probably in a town, our town has around 35,000 people, so we're a very, very small town. I call it the Bob Vila town. And then everybody fixes their own plumbing, don't call you till they tear it up. But since then, you know, it's got better as we've gotten into service, and we are working a lot of guys that don't have a lot of experience, training them under our older plumbers. And there's three of us there now. We're 50 plus, dang near 55 plus, all three of us. And we are trying to train our young plumbers some of the things we were taught and learned. And sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. We go through a lot of young men. So
if you're looking for new plumbers, and I'm like you, I have apprentices in all my trucks. Where do you go to find apprentices? Because I found out that trying to go through you said in the last video about, you know, kids that grew up on the farm, stuff like that. Also like talking to football coaches and say, hey, do you have any kids that, you know, they're a good team player, they really try, they give it everything, but they're not getting a scholarship and they can't afford to go to college. And that's been good for me in the past. How do you find people, apprentices, to put into your trucks? Do you get out and look for them, or do you just kind of wait for them to come in and talk to you?
No, most of the time we have been looking for them lately because we're down on help this year. And we've been really busy. It's been a Cinderella year for us in the service world. So, but when we solicit and find the help that we get in the younger guys, most of the time it's by word of mouth through the plumbing supply houses and somebody. And a lot of time, and I think this is probably the worst thing you could do, is hire friends, family. We've done that a lot, and it just generally doesn't work out for various reasons, but you know, we try a lot of kids. We want them to either have some auto body experience or some type of hands-on working experience. And when I interview a kid that has had some experience with turning wrenches or doing physical labor, then, you know, I'm very interested in them. I like a kid that don't mind doing labor and don't mind getting dirty, and that's some of the first questions I ask them, and especially showing up and being on time. I think that's most of the contractors in our area's problem on retaining the help when we get them. So if we ever get a good one, we retain them and try to do the best we can as far as benefits and vacation packages, sick days, and holidays, So if we find a good one, we try to keep them.
And that's a great thing. If you're watching this and you're a plumber, leave a comment down below and let me know what it is. How did you get into plumbing? How did somebody either find you or what made you seek out something? But leave a comment down below and let me know what got you into plumbing. I get a lot of comments on YouTube all the time about people wanting to get into plumbing. Everything from 14-year-old kids, like, look, I'm in middle school, I'm in high school. How do I start learning plumbing right now? Because it's something that I want to get into. So that really always strikes me as funny, because when I was that age, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And if it wouldn't have been for my buddy, I probably wouldn't have even got into plumbing. I'd have done something else. Mm-hmm. But he's kind of like you. His dad, his 3 older brothers, they were all in plumbing. They loved it. And he talked to me about it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it. What about plumbers? How do plumbers in your area find work? And are most of them going to work for a licensed plumbing company? Or, here in the area I'm at, I've got plumbing companies down the street that send apprentices out all day long to do work. And it's against the law. It's against the plumbing license law and everything else. But I just don't think they care. They're like, look, I'm going to make enough money. If I get fined, I get fined. It's no big deal.
Yeah, we have the same problem in our area. And my company being, we're not huge, but we work 15 to 20 people, and with a lot of it being an office staff too, but probably 14 to 16 working people in the field. And generally I try to keep half of them as my licensed experienced plumbers to train these young men that we bring in and hope to make plumbers. So in our town, like I said, it's tough, especially in the new constructions. Why I chose to get out of it too, because it's a wide open market. People are looking for the cheapest people they can find to hire and do their home plumbing, especially with spec homes and things like that. So when there is a licensed plumber that comes to town, it's we're very fortunate. We're like my wife reminded me, we're on social media. You can Google our company. We have very good reviews and a pretty nice website. So when the plumbers that come to us looking for a job, we ask them how they found us, and they said it was a no-brainer. We looked at your website, and you had the best reviews in the area. So kind of made me feel good about that.
Absolutely. That's something that we work very hard at. And it's funny because I'm like you. I'm looking for plumbers. I actually made a call today to try to get some people to come over and talk to me. The last 4 or 5 plumbers I've had come in, it's just like, that's not the plumber that I want. Yeah. Because, people don't understand that these people that we send out, the plumbers that we hire, are liable to walk in people's houses when, their wife's home alone. College-age daughter is home alone. And, everybody that walks in, I look at them and think, okay, would I send you into my house if I wasn't there? And so I'm really picky about the people that I hire. And a lot of times that's hurt me because I'm losing business because I'm turning calls away because I don't have plumbers to send. I tell kids all the time that getting into the trade can be a great career. You don't have to go to college. You can come in, you can learn it. You don't have any college education to pay for, anything like that. What makes plumbing a great trade to get into from your point of view?
And it's like I said earlier, me and my brother both was fortunate to get our plumbing license as soon as we got out of high school. And like I said, we have never been unemployed. I don't think I've ever drawn unemployment. I've been paying into Social Security since I was a very young teenager, so I think that's pretty vested. But the main thing I tell the guys is, if you work at it, you keep yourself decent looking, and keep your priorities to the right of mind, that you'll never be unemployed. And I've got some guys that make, even being non-union, that they make really, we are very competitive with the union in our area. So when I was in the union, we never had the benefits of the vacations and the paid holidays and sick days and things like that. So, and we actually share with our guys some of the profit on the gross sales. So it's really a good deal. Some of my guys go home with a $500, $600, $700 check at the end of the month if they're doing their homework, and that's not really having to work a lot of overtime either. That's just basically doing their job like they were trained and being good at it. So it's a very, very good occupation to get into. And
you're here in the Dallas area this week because of SGI. We're both part of it. So we both believe in training our guys and making sure they have the right tools to do the job right. I like the fact that you say, we incentivize them with, a percentage of profits or this, that, or whatnot. How do other companies in your area do? Because, I'm in Dallas, and, my biggest competition is on the TV every day. How do you compete with other companies to help keep your plumbers? What do you do that they don't?
Well, number one, like I said, we offer the benefits after they, especially when they get their license. We kind of leave that as an incentive, for us when they get their license that, this is what you can have. And generally, I get soft before the 2 years that they can go take their license and give them a raise or give them a vacation and things like that just to keep them interested. So, and then, by the time they get their experience in, then they work their way up to, running a truck on their own. And like I said, the biggest incentive is, for them to share some of our gross profits with them. And, they really like that. Some of them make enough to make a truck payment, a home payment, or something like that if they really charge hard at it. So retaining them in our area is very tough because everybody's looking for licensed plumbers. We're not like some of the states and the shops we visited. They're able to go to the health department or whatever and get their plumbing license. Ours is actually you go to the state, take that exam, and it's really tough. But once you get that passed and keep your continuing ed up, you've got it made, and you'll most likely be employed the rest of your life. So, but in my town, being a small town, we work with a lot of what I call one-man plumbing shops out of their homes. The way we used to be, but now we have a full office staff. We have 6 to 8 trucks. Most of them are wrapped with a huge, giant elephant on there, and we get a lot of attention in our town. So, like I said before, we get keyed on a lot because we are a bigger shop. Our trucks are seen everywhere, and even in a 35,000 populous town, and not to say that we have counties around us with 100,000 extra people have to travel a little bit, but we really do well in a small town.
Good for you. Now, I got a question, and this is just me thinking because I'm right outside the Dallas area, and we've got little cities all around us that we try to focus on. How do you make your phone ring? Is it through Google? Is it Facebook advertising? What is it you're doing to make your phone ring?
Okay, it's a good question that we come up with a lot. People ask us, and our primary advertising is on our local radio stations, in which they own 4 or 5 radio stations in our area. And my biggest question from my competitors are, oh my gosh, how much do you spend on advertising? And I say, it don't matter because it makes our phone ring off the wall.
You bet.
And number 2, if you're just getting started and trying to get your name out there, the best thing you can do ever is wrap your truck. Come up with the logo for your company. For years when my dad had our company, we were just Ivitts Plumbing on the card, and that's all it said. We didn't have a logo, nothing fancy. And like I said, we didn't seek to make our phones ring for service work, but now that we do, through PSI and joining the success group, we come up with a off-the-wall character, which is on my box trucks. It's about an 8-foot-tall elephant, and his name's Plum Bob.
That's pretty cool looking too. Yeah. I'm telling you.
So not only does it catch the customer's attention, it catches their kids' attention. So it's probably the biggest number one thing we've ever done is come up with a great logo, and we get a lot of compliments on it. People taking pictures of our trucks, things like that. And most of the calls we get from the neighborhoods in our area from neighbors that said, we seen your truck in the driveway across the street today and got the phone number off of it. So if you're just getting started and wanting to market yourself, that's the cheapest, easiest, and the biggest thing you can do to help yourself.
Fantastic. If you're just coming in, do me a favor, leave a comment down below. Let me know, what are you doing different? I do YouTube. He does advertising, rap, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things out there. Leave me a comment down below and let me know, what do you do different that most people in your area aren't? And that's really why I started doing social media, because my companies are 2 of the biggest companies in SGI that are in my area. I get to see them on the TV and radio every morning, every day, no matter what. So we started looking at what all can we do different. And social media is just part of it, but there are other things that we do. We're all trying to figure out how to do things different and do things better. I love the fact that you actually have apprentices ride with your plumbers to learn from them. I put an apprentice in every truck. And what it does is it lets me help grow my next plumber if they stay around long enough. Yeah. But it's hard work, and a lot of people don't want to do it. Where all can people find you? I know you got the webpage, and if you hadn't been to Ivitts Plumbing on the internet, go check it out. Look at the logo. It's really a cool elephant. Where all else are you? I know you're on Facebook.
Yeah, we're just on Facebook and our website, and then all the radio stations. We tried TV. That's for the big boys. That's expensive, so we don't do a whole lot of that. But ours, because we've been around for a long time, is a lot of word of mouth, and we got a lot of, we maintain good reviews. We strive on that, and our guys do, and we're in Pulse M too. So we're slacking on that a little bit, but fix to go back. That's why we're here training this week.
You bet, and we all are. So, guys, if you're anywhere near Western Kentucky, check out Ivitts Plumbing in Paducah, Kentucky. And like I said, leave us a comment down below here. Go check out his webpage. Like I'm telling you, that logo, that's pretty cool. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. If you hadn't done it yet, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on anything. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I'll see you on the next video if you don't get flushed.